Hey, good morning everybody. Transport Bandits here. I'm Cheryl and I'm going to give you some information on team driving and also the information of how when you're doing a run as a team. My husband has got a towaway, I've got a motorized, and we take it the same direction. I drop off my motorized and I get back into the truck with Jeff and start up as team driving. Okay, so let's begin. Let me put a disclaimer about what I'm about to say. This is only with the information that I have through my experience. This is my opinion and through synergy. So this may not apply to other companies how this works. So I'm just going to explain it as I know it. And as far as I know, I just called compliance, made sure that I was logging correctly, and they all said that that was correct. The team driving unit has 14-hour shift. I have 11 hours. Jeff has 11 hours to use within that 14-hour period that you can maximum drive. Well, that's impossible to do 22 hours worth of driving in a 14-hour day shift. So the maximum driving that you can possibly do as a team driver is 13 hours and 15 minutes. Now, how did I come up with that? Unless you have a DOT approved sleeper berth, and that comes with papers. That's not just something that you've made in the back seat. That is something that has been installed, redefined. Your back doors, your mattress would measure 75 inches all the way across, and you have all that kind of stuff, or you're in a big semi or have an actual sleeper. You cannot log sleeper berth. Okay, you have to log as off duty or you are on break, your 10-hour break. So in that case, which we do not have the DOT sleeper berth in with us right now, so we have to do our 10-hour break. So we can drive maximum as a team driver, you can drive 13 hours and 15 minutes. Well, how did I come up with that? Okay, our company allows us to show, we have to show a 15-minute PTI. You know, it may be 30 minutes or it may be, 45 minutes, however long. But the minimum showing for a PTI, when I say PTI, that's your pre-trip inspection. Okay, you walk around your unit, you check your lugs, everything like that is going to be in your orientation packet. Well, everything you have to check before you leave out every day. Okay, so we usually log a 15-minute PTI, check in to make sure everything's good to go. And then you can drive back and forth, switching out as much as you want to. You can drive up to 8 hours. Then you show a 30-minute break. We usually show that before combined either one of us has reached 8 hours, just to be on the safe side. And then you go on logging with your 15-minute breaks or on duty, off duty, but make sure as a team driver, whoever's sitting in the passenger seat logs as on duty, not driving. That's with our company. That's how our company told us to do it. Is I log as on duty, not driving, if you're sitting in the passenger seat. Now, if you show your 30-minute break on the top end of your logs, and you're going to have more than 8 hours driving after that, you're going to have to show another break. Me and Jeff don't run quite like that. We hardly ever run that hard. You've got a 15-minute, we usually do a 15-minute PTI. The hardest we ever run is a 15-minute PTI. We show a 30-minute break, and there's usually 1 or 2 stops of 15-minute breaks or fuel in between them. So we usually run on a hard day as a team driver. We usually can get 11 to 11 and a half hour driving time in that day. So we always figure that, and you figure 11 hours at the top speed you can go is 65 miles per hour. Let's just say you're on the interstate. You have just pulled off the interstate at the truck stop, so no extra miles, and you were able to go as fast as you can go on the interstate all day long. You have to not go over 65 miles per hour, no matter, even if the speed limit is 80 miles an hour, it's 65 miles per hour you can travel with a unit on the back. So you figure, to figure out how long it's going to take you to get from point A to point B, you figure, let's say I'm in Fargo, North Dakota, and we want to see how far we will get that day. you figure, well, choose a point, you do however many miles that is, divided by 65 miles per hour, and that will give you how many hours it will take you to get there, okay? So 11 and a half hours is usually what we can get in at the most for me and Jeff, because you're going to have those few breaks. If you don't have those few breaks, which that may be how you want to run, 13 hours, 15 minutes, 15-minute PTI, half-hour break. That accounts for your 14-hour shift day. That's the most you can do, unless you have a DOT-approved sleeper berth. But if you were to drive from point A to point B, let's say you didn't even stop and take a break, you have up to 8 hours, and then you must show sometime before then a 30-minute break. After that, you can drive the rest of the way, and when you stop, you put down on your logbook that you're on your 10-hour break, if you haven't done any breaks after that, or fuel stops or whatever that you've logged. Okay, so you're driving the whole way. Okay, so you don't need to do anything on duty. You will log on duty if you're getting a fuel break. Okay, you will log break if you have stopped and gone to the restroom, or stopped in a store, or just taken a break for a few minutes. Okay, if you stop and have gone into the rest area and you are less than 7 minutes, it took you less than 7 minutes to pull over, run into the restroom, come back out, get back into your unit, and keep traveling. With our company, as we have it explained, if it's less than 7 minutes, you don't have to log that. Just log it. You just drove straight through. When you come to the point at which you are going to break for the night, you will log as 10-hour break at that moment in 10 p.m. or 8 p.m., whatever time you stop driving. You will log as 10-hour break wherever you happen to be at, and then you have from 10 hours to be off. You can have more than 10 hours, but you cannot have less than 10 hours before you start the next morning. Does that make sense to you guys? Now, getting back to the motorized and the team driving. When I choose a motorized load, I call my dispatcher, I ask for the motorized load going the same direction as there's a load going for Jeff. Always make sure that you've got two that you can for sure get together. And then my dispatcher emails me that BOL on my phone. I use that, and then I'll print that off with using my little Canon TR150 portable printer. But that your BOL for the motorized will come as an email. So I get my BOL through an email, and then I will go to usually the Elkhart yard, or there is a yard right behind our office that houses the motorized units, and you have to do a pre-trip inspection on your motorized unit, and that is checking all the fluids, your tires, making sure your mirrors are adjusted, your seats adjusted, knowing where all the knobs and gadgets and all that, blah, blah, blah. You know how to do all that. Once you do your full PTI on your motorized, then you start logging when you leave out as an individual driver. So I have my own logbook. I use paper logs. Now, a lot of people use the Keep Trucking app. So I tried that. A lot of people like that. I prefer the paper logs, just old school like that, I guess. You start logging as an individual driver. Now, as an individual driver, without riding with somebody else, you are no longer a team driver, and you get 14 hours of the day in a shift. Of those 14 hours, you get 11 of those to actually drive. Before 8 hours of driving has occurred, you need to show a 30-minute break. Okay, so right now you've got at least a 15 or a 30-minute PTI is what you showed on your logbook, and then you can drive all the way without taking a break. You know, you'll log a 15-minute break or a fuel break or 15 minutes or whatever. So when I get to my delivery point on my motorized, from point A to point B, I have driven the entire way, I've logged it, 10 hours break, all that. When I get to my delivery point, I will go down to the on-duty status and log as delivery, and then whatever city that you are in. however long that takes you, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it's going to take. And then I get back into the truck with Jeff. So then at that point, I become a team driver. Now your hours have changed. You are no longer an individual driver, you are a team driver. As a team driver, so then I have to switch over. I still keep my own separate logbook, which, you know, these are our paper logs, like here, okay? And I just log in as team driver, and at that point, let's say it's 2:30 p.m., I made my delivery, and let's say my delivery lasted a half an hour. So at 3 o'clock, you'll want to go in and put, if I'm sitting in the passenger seat, I will log as on duty, not driving, and I will put a mark on my logbook as starting team driving now, okay? And then you will become a team driver. So now your hours have changed. You are no longer an individual driver, you are a team driver. Going back to the hours, you get a 14-hour shift. And within that 14 hours, I get 11 hours that I can drive possibly. Jeff gets 11 hours that he can drive. Okay, so you have 22 hours worth of driving you can do. Well, that makes no sense because you only got a 14-hour day, or 14 hours in a day shift to complete that in. So we can switch off as many times as we want, and when you mark that switch off point, if you are not in, let's say we are not in a town, because sometimes we will switch off driving and just pull onto an off ramp. So all you would need to do is put a line down, mark team driving, and then where you are located at, okay? So team driving, Boise, Idaho, that you switched. And you will go from driving to on duty, not driving, or you went from riding in the passenger seat, which is on duty, not driving, up to driving. And that's how you log the team driving portion. Now, as an individual on your log, it went from being an individual driver. So on your log, you start team driving. You have to note the time in which you stopped being an individual driver to the time you started being a team driver. And you only log the miles once you got back into the truck after driving your motorized of the amount of miles that you got in the truck and drove further. Okay, so on that day, if you went any further than where you delivered to and got back in the truck and we rode further with your partner, you drive it as team driving. Also on the logs, you have to show the beginning and the ending odometer reading. So you will have your beginning odometer reading for your unit, your motorized unit, and then what you ended for your odometer reading. And then right beside that, you put your beginning, I just write in the truck, the team driving beginning odometer for that day and the ending odometer. But now up there at the team miles, you only have to log, as the motorized driver who got into the truck, only log the team miles of the amount of time you were in the truck. Then you also I put after 3 p.m., Jeff is my co-driver. So before that, I had no co-driver. So when it asked for co-driver, I put no co-driver. When it puts, and then after 3 p.m., I write down Jeff Arnold and his driver number, which is 5219. If you're applying for Synergy, put him down for a referral. That gets us a bonus. And, sorry, I had to throw that in. And write down co-driver Jeff Arnold, 5219. And it will also ask you about, your BOL and your transporter plates. You have to I put that. So it's a lot of writing on one of the paper logs. So you go from being your own BOL, and then I write down the second BOL is this number after 3 p.m. So I go on to Jeff's BOL as a team driver. As the unit number You will write down your unit number you had as a motorized driver, and then after you have delivered your motorized unit and you've gotten back into the truck, you write down a second unit number, which is now the trailer right behind us. That's that unit number after 3 p.m. Okay, it sounds a little confusing, but it's really pretty simple. If you just think about it for a minute. You kind of have to jump from being your own individual driver over to being a team driver. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me anytime. I'll be glad to talk to you over the phone, so just private message me and we'll talk it over. So that's how you log as a motorized going back over into a team driving unit. One more thing, as you will find out if you travel into the western states or into Canada or anything, you will need permits. So you both will pull in, if you're traveling the same direction, you both will pull into the port of entry or call or go online, get your individual permits. You have to have your own permit. He has to have his own permit. As for way stations, that's a different matter. If you are in an RV or a van, it is not necessary in some states, because you are not overweight, you're not registering 20,000 GVR or whatever, you do not have to pull into the weigh station. However, your partner who has a camper on the back may have to. So we just coordinate that. So I bypass the weigh station and go a little further and wait on him, or we both go into the weigh station and we may have to stop at the port of entry and we both get a permit. You make sure that you both have a permit for Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, Wyoming, that kind of thing. So we've got a binder that tells us where all we have permits for. Our company requires us to get our own permits at the port of entry online or by calling, and they give us all those numbers and information. And with our company, they will reimburse you. Now that will come, the permits will come out of your own pocket. You will pay for that, and I usually use my Synergy card because they give us half up front and half when we deliver. So that's going to cover any little minor expenses that you have on the way out here or whatever. You pay for your permit yourself out of your own pocket on your card, your Synergy card or your Comdata card, whatever company you're working for's card. And then you take a photograph. You'll use your app and take a photograph when you send in your BOL by the means of the app. That's how we do it. And I'll talk about that app some other time. We take a photograph of our BOL, our dealer acceptance form, our permits that we have gotten. In this case, I had 2 permits, one for Wyoming, which was like $40 or something, one for Idaho, which was like $40 or $60 and $40, I'm not sure. And any toll receipts that you have incurred along the way, take a picture of that. You send it all in together, and you get reimbursed for your tolls, and you get reimbursed for those permits. So it's not really money out of your pocket, because you will get paid back for that. So I hope that clears up a little bit about how to log as team driving, and I hope this little bit of information helps. And if you have any questions at all, put it in the comments or private message me, and we'll be glad to talk it over. I'll be glad to help you out. Remember, if you like this video, press the like button. If you have not subscribed yet to the Transport Bandit, you're missing out. Just hit that subscribe button. If you never watch another video again, just hit that subscribe button. That helps us out so much. Oh yeah, and hit that little bell thingy, because that's going to notify you when we have a live coming up, when we have a new video coming out. Yeah, if you hit the notification bell, that's just going to let you know when we've got something new on. Thanks for watching. Transport Bandits out.